Visually, fashion wise, I think I've always kind of been known for dressing up nice, but I think it stops there. I don't think a lot of people see my depth and see how much I feel and how much I care and how much I'm a nurturer, like how much I'm a nerd as well. Like I have so many elements to myself, but I think people only see the visual side of that. Especially being black and gay, because if you're black, gay, and kind of fabulous, you're an accessory. You're not really seen as a person. Your emotions don't matter. You're just a prop. You look good next to somebody, or you benefit somebody in this way. So I don't feel fully seen. I'm Griffin Wilson, Pittsburgh raised, born and raised. I grew up on the West Side actually. I am a fashion designer slash stylist. I've been fashion designing for like almost 6 years, and then styling off and on for about almost 10. So, yes, I'm a fashion designer, visionary, creative director, seamstress, tailor, all that. On a scale of 1 to 10, how authentically are you living your life, both online and offline? That's a good question. I would say I would say an 8. I wouldn't give myself a 10 because I feel like with social media, I can't showcase like my crash outs. I can't showcase my crash outs and just kind of like I don't know, I have to have some boundary. So I can't show myself fully on social media just because I think some of us needs like some parts of ourselves needs to be kept a secret and just kind of kept to yourself. You can go through things on your own in your solitude. The internet doesn't need to be. They don't need to see everything. But I would say offline, I'm 100% myself. Online, 8 out of 10. Talk to me about unstable. What is the origin of your story? What is your mission and vision? Unstable is basically, it's founded based off of my life. My upbringing was very unstable. I lived in two different households, 7 days at one house, 7 days at the other, on opposite ends of the city, opposite ways of like living. So at my dad's house, it was very a little more strict. I had to work out a lot. I had dressed differently. It was just a whole different energy. Then my mom's house, it was more carefree. Dressed differently as well. I dressed more like this at my mom's house, and she was more loving. But you know, with parents, everybody, both parents had their own things going on. So, but it was a contrast. It was a very big contrast, and I pretty much learned to live two double lives, and it was to the point where I kind of talked different a little bit. I kind of walked different a little bit. At my dad's house, I couldn't walk a certain way because if it was too feminine, it wouldn't be correct. But at my mom's, I could be myself, let my hair down, and just be myself. But I kind of played on this, and with living two different lives, you realize you don't really know yourself. So that sent me down this loophole of just going into things, relationships, friendships, jobs, anything. And I was thinking it aligned with who I was, but it didn't, because who I thought I was wasn't actually who I was. It was who I was told to be. And once I realized that, I was like, shit, what am I doing with my life? So this kind of sent me down like a mental health. I was already like going through a lot mentally just because turning it off and on constantly just is a lot as a kid. And then you get to your early 20s and it's the same thing, especially with dating. Like, you don't know what to do. You don't know if you should be yourself. You don't know what they like. You don't know if you should be what they want or be what you need. And it's just, it's a contrast. It's a mind fuck, literally a mind fuck. And this kind of like caused me to just want to end it all. I just wanted silence. I just wanted my mind to be clear. I didn't want to please anybody anymore. I didn't want to struggle anymore because it was a struggle pleasing everybody. Um, I just felt lost. So I was, you know what? I just don't think this lifetime is it for me. So I planned on committing suicide. And I remember this. It was like January 2019, I was kind of like I was driving like up north. Bridge and just kind of like do it. And I'm bawling in the car, driving myself up there, and I'm just thinking about life. And then, like, as I'm thinking, I'm like, wait, doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right. I shouldn't be doing this. I thought about my family, my mom and my brother. I was like, if I do this, they're gonna be torn. My sister, torn. I thought about other people, and then in the midst of that, I thought about you haven't even lived yet. You're 20. You're 20, and yes, you've lived physically, like you're alive, but you haven't lived. And that's when I kind of understood the difference between life and living. And I said, you know what? We're gonna try this again. We're gonna start living. We're gonna start going after what we want to do and who we want to be, and that's gonna lead our life, not what others think. But I said we're also gonna go to therapy. So I started therapy, and then I also was like, okay, I'm gonna pursue my dream, which is being a designer. So my first therapy session, she was like, write down what you feel. And I had this notebook, I still have it too. In big words, I wrote unstable. And I kept looking at it. I'm like, okay, unstable. And then I wrote little words around it, but unstable was big in the middle. And I was like, I kind of like that. I kind of like that. And I told myself, I said, if you were to ever pursue fashion, you wouldn't approach it at a surface level because you know how surface it is. You know how surface it can get. And I said, if you were going to do it, you're going to tell your story through clothing, through the art form that you know. So I made my brand unstable. Um, that was in 2019, and I officially launched November 27th, 2020. And I chose November 27th because my grandfather passed the year prior to that, November 27th, 2019. And he was a hustler. He showed me what entrepreneurship was, and I admired him for that. So I was like, in honor of him and in honor of me following my dreams, I'm going to do it on this day. So every year I'm celebrating my +1 year anniversary of Unstable on my grandfather's death day, just because he meant so much to me. He was my father figure, honestly. And this goes back to like what my mission and vision is. Like my mission is just to showcase my life and my art, be relatable. Fashion can sometimes be unrelatable, especially if you get into like the higher end market. It seems out of reach and just seems kind of like something you dream of. Like you can't touch it because it's too exclusive. But it's not. It's not. It's just close. It's close. But I want to give clothes a meaning. And I want to do that through storytelling videos, my fashion, like my photo shoots. There's always a story behind it. Like the mood board, it's always tells a story. When I'm creating like these characters for my shoots, they always have an origin story, and that's my goal to just keep doing that. And like I think my vision over the years have changed. I've always wanted to be like one of the top designers, but I think now that I'm getting older and I'm just getting deeper into like my path, I feel like I don't want to be big. I don't want to be the biggest. I just kind of want to be myself. And I want to attract people that align with that. And they align with the messages that I'm, you know, speaking in my brand. And I just want to be me. That's it. I just want to be me and just attract people that love individuality. They love my story. They've been through something similar. They can relate. That's all I want. I feel like that means more than money to me. So, yeah. Talk to me about your creative process. Where does your love for fashion come from? Oh, I was just talking about this. So I genuinely feel like fashion was a part of me from the beginning. Like, if you look at pictures of me as a 2 year old, I am in a full fit. A full outfit. My mom's very stylish. She has like a punk aesthetic. And my dad, he has like a streetwear aesthetic. So both ends, they could both dress their ass off. I will say that. They could both dress their ass off, and they really like poured that into us. So it comes naturally for me. And then on top of that, like I used to play games like Me's, Stardoll, IMVU, just like those characterization games where you just create a character from scratch, dress them how you want to, build their houses, stuff like that. So like just indulging in fashion anyway has been that's where it comes from. And it's just a part of my identity at this point. Not my full identity. I had to walk away from that because it there was a point where it was like everything I wear is me. But it's like it's not. It's just a surface. But yeah, I just it's in me. It's in me. It's always been in me. And my creative process, I just pretty much now it's I feel. So I'm literally how I dress is how I feel. So like right now I got a do-rag on. I'm feeling chill. I'm feeling relaxed. I feel comfy. This is very homey vibe in here. So I'm like, I'm just calm, chill. Not do too much. But I start that with everything. So like my new collection that's coming out, it's based off of like all the rage that I felt that I never like got to let out. So like there's gonna be a lot of red, a lot of black, spikes, studs, piercings, chains, like just very hard and like grunge and it's gonna scare a lot of people. But it's a good scare. Everybody needs a little scare. But yeah, I'm a Cancer moon, so like everything stems from how I feel. So that's my creative process. What has it been like for you to fully own being a black, gay, feminine man? It feels liberating because growing up in the black community, you're told you shouldn't be feminine at all or gay. Like that's the first word the F word is like the first word that you know is like a bad word. And I remember my dad telling me, he said, everyone is gonna think you're an F word, and I'm gonna help you like try to not be that. And I think he meant good when he said it, but hearing that, I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, I'm just a kid. I don't even know I'm doing anything wrong. This is just how I am. So, you eventually start conforming. You hold yourself back, you hold everything in. You can't stand a certain way, you can't walk a certain way, you can't even talk a certain way. Like, you have to change your voice in these environments, and it's not fun. It's not fun if you're doing that all the time. And that goes back to me performing and acting a certain way for others. But like now, I'm sitting here, I got my legs crossed. I feel so free, and I've made my black gay experience what it is for me. I think even being black and gay, there's still kind of like oh, you're supposed to be this way, you're supposed to be that way. But how it looks for me, it's not gonna be that for everybody. And I'm embracing that. So it's very liberating. And again, I feel free. I feel free. I would choose this. If it was a choice, I would choose this again in my next life. Genuinely. Um, do you feel fully seen and heard for who you are? Um, Seen, yes. And I say seen in a way like visually, fashion wise, I think I've always kind of been known for dressing up nice, but I think it stops there. I don't think a lot of people see my depth and see how much I feel and how much I care and how much I'm a nurturer, like how much I'm a nerd as well. Like I have so many elements to myself, but I think people only see the visual side of that. Especially being black and gay, because if you're black, gay, and kind of fabulous, you're an accessory. You're not really seen as a person. Your emotions don't matter. You're just a prop. You look good next to somebody, or you benefit somebody in this way. So I don't feel fully seen. I don't feel fully seen. I do feel by some, but not everybody. I would say a little few. In fashion comes glam. That all is an archetype of like visual. So if they see you're visually pleasing, or you know your shit fashion wise, you know your shit makeup wise, you know your shit hair wise, they're gonna be like, oh, I need him in my team. And it's all for like self, and it's all for like visual. but you kind of miss the opportunities of getting to know a person because you're focused on surface level. So like now I feel like I'm kind of used to, especially being in this industry for a little while, I'm used to, I can point out when somebody's like that, even if they try to hide it. It's like intuition and discernment. It kind of like makes you learn it. So yeah, I think, and I'm going to New York soon, so that's good. It's gonna be at an all-time high, higher than what I'm used to here. But I think I know who I am. I know what I deserve. I know my worth. I know what I bring to friendships. I know what I deserve in friendships. I know what I'm capable of building as far as like friendships, relationships, connections in general. I know the depth I have. So if I feel like something is a little too surface, I'll like chop it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. What is the biggest lesson of life is teaching you right now? I love this question. Um, Life is teaching me to pour as much effort into myself and my projects like I would with other people. And I'll say how it's teaching me that business wise and like personally. Business wise, I think I use other people's projects to show myself and go all in. Like I think last year I spent so much time working on these projects for organizations, businesses, stuff like that. To the point where when it was coming like time to work on my own stuff, I was drained because I put so much energy out and then I wasn't poured into. It wasn't like a energy exchange. It was kind of like a thank you. We'll hit you up. So I've learned to like pull back from that. If somebody's paying me something, a certain amount of money to do something, I'm gonna do that money's worth. I'm not gonna overextend. Because again, that Aries, I am driven. I'm driven. I'm very passionate. I will put my 100% in everything, and I'm learning everything can't get 100%. And personally, it's pretty similar. I think I have like connections that take a lot from me, and I naturally give a lot, but those people don't. And it's not that I expect them to give what I give. I just need to be poured into in a similar way. Because if not, I have a bunch of people around me that I'm pouring 100% into, but they're only giving me 25. I'm drained. I can't fill my cup. Nobody's filling my cup. I'm filling everybody else's cup. And then I'm trying to fill my own cup. But I'm a cup. A cup can't fill its own cup. So it's like I have to have other people around me that are filling my cup as well. And I think I've had some harsh realities of just kind of like, you gotta pull back. You gotta pull back. You gotta bring it back home. And I think like when growing up, I was alone a lot. I had friends, but like they were surface level. So when it came to like who I was behind doors, I was sad all the time. I was sad all the time. I was alone. So I think as I got older and I started like leaning more into the surface level connections, I was like, oh wait, I'm not alone. But I realized I was still alone. There's people around you, but you're still alone. And that's not a way to live either. So you can be, I would say I'm not alone now. I have good connections, but I think there's still a lot of noise and a lot of people around me that I have to kind of like weave out. So I'm learning to prioritize myself and what I'm pouring into and what's pouring into me. That's my best lesson right now. Um, what are you learning to love about yourself? What am I learning to love about myself? I think I'm learning to love my quirkiness again. I think I kind of like I kind of veered away from it because I thought it was cringe, but I feel like everybody's a little cringe. Everybody needs to be a little cringe. Like we have to be ourselves, and everybody's cringe. If we're all the same way, how does that set people apart? And I think social media plays a factor on that. You see the same layouts, the same templates for like pictures, videos, content, but everyone's scared to kind of like be cringe, be themselves. Like they don't really want to talk about what they want to talk about. They don't want to laugh how they want to laugh. They just don't want to seem too different. But I'm leaning into that a lot. And I think it's working in my favor. I think it's my core for one. And two, like, you're just different. You're interesting. So it's like, I think I'm learning, like, because I always thought you had to be like the masses to kind of like be accepted. But no, that's not the case. It's not the case anymore. Nah, that's my favorite thing.
I actually want to ask one more question that
Mhm.
isn't in the cards.
Mhm.
If your future self was here, what would he tell you to stop holding back?
He would tell me to stop holding back. That's a very good question. I'm trying to narrow it down. He would tell me to stop holding back on my powers of like trusting my intuition. I think he would tell me to like, listen to yourself more. Don't kind of like, if you have that gut feeling, just feel it and just move. Think less. Because I think when you think more, it kind of like, in some cases it works, but in most cases it doesn't. Especially like when it's a matter that really relies on intuition and action. It's more action based. So when you're thinking too much, just say, shut up, bitch. Just shut up. Just shut up. And then just do what you feel. I think that's what he would tell me. I love that question. How has it felt to be seen in the hot seat today? It feels reminds me of therapy. It feels like therapy. I love therapy. I'm an advocate for therapy. I was in therapy for like 6 years. Literally after 2019, I was not in nonstop. I went through like EMDR, inner child wounds, a lot, and I love it. I feel like it wakes it up, but like it wakes it up in a good way. Like we need to feel that. So like me talking about this, I feel like it kind of reminds me of that. I'm not crying, of course, because it's like I feel like what I'm talking about is what I'm talking about. I feel like I'm at terms with, and then like you have the energy in here is just like I smell some incense. I think it's very vibey in here. I love it, and it's a safe space. So thank you.
Yeah.
Biggest takeaway. Um, Biggest takeaway is that there are people in Pittsburgh that want to get deep, and even when you think there isn't, you just have to look harder. Honestly, I didn't have to look hard for you because I was like, I saw this. I was, what is this? I saw this beautiful backdrop. I was like, hold on, and then I heard some of the conversations. I was like, oh yeah, I need to be a part of this. I need to be a part of this. But yeah, there's depth around here. There's people that go deeper, and there's a lot of people on their own journey. And I think we all kind of love hearing about each other's journey. Like I'm sure, I hope after this, like where we could key a little bit and I can learn more about you. But any final thoughts? Um, I gotta look in the camera for this. Please come and just express yourself and just be free. I think a lot of us would truly benefit from this, and we need to see this depth that we all have. We need to let that out. I think social media is just very surface level right now, and it's just too image based. And we need to release the image because once we're logging out of our phones, who are we? I think that's what matters the most. Like, who are we outside of our phones? And how much of that, that's why I love when you ask that question, how much of it is shown on social media? And I know with photo shoots, you can't really show too much, but this is literally video. It's not improv. You have no choice but to just answer. So come down here at the hot seat. Come in the hot seat.
Thank you, Griffin.
You're welcome.